Good morning, everybody. We're so glad that you're back again this morning for Get Up and Blink, especially as we continue striding through our 5K prep program. Today, we are focusing on our legs. And again, we have friends from Achilles International with us. We have their Francesco Magisano with us, who is going to give us some modifications for any of the movement today. So what we need for today is to be a mat, your body, as well as a backpack that is filled up with any household objects or weights, anything you got that ranges from about 15 to maybe 30 pounds. You can go a little bit lighter if you need.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
We are working still at a range because we feel like as runners, we need that type of tempo work, which is great. And we're going to be focusing primarily on legs, looking at glutes. So we're going to have our warm-up stretch, then we're going to through into 2 strength circuits, and there's going to be a surprise when we get into this first one. We'll say it when we get there, and then we have our cool down stretch. So for today's workout, pretty much all that you're going to need is a mat and your body. All right, so let's get started with the warm-up. All right, first movement that we're going to do is going to be jumping. So I'm going to go with jumping jacks. Francesco, what are you going with?
I'll go jumping jacks too.
All right, then I'm with jump squats. All right.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to switch it up a bit with you. All right, so we're going to go for about 10 reps here. You guys ready? So I'm going to sit down, squat, and I'm going to explode up. All right, and Francesco, once you're ready, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, and let's begin. All right, so again, I'm going for about 10 reps here, getting everything warmed up into the legs, really focusing through into the glutes, getting some blood flow. All right, about 10 reps there. Next movement is going to be our low side lunges. So this warm-up today, pretty much all dynamic. I'm going to my feet hip width apart. I'm going to bend at my left knee. I'm going to push my back, get a stretch through my inner thigh, and a stretch through the glute. You ready, Francesco?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go in 3, 2, 1. Let's sit it back. So dynamic warm, really important injury prevention. Again, making sure that you're sitting your hips back, getting that stretch through, warming up all those soft tissues that we're going to be working with. All right, and then our next movement is going to be hurdle steps. We're going to do that in 3. Let me talk you through the hurdle step. We're going to bring your knee up to 90 degrees. We're going to rotate the hip up. Then we're going to touch the heel down to the ground in front of us. Let's go through 5 on one leg, 5 on the other leg. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Knee up to knee in front of your hip, rotate out to the side, touch the foot back down to the ground. Knee to 90, rotate out, touch down. So you're right now at about your 3rd rep. So Francesco, 4, what are your thoughts on these like hip opening 5 hurdle steps? We're going to switch legs now.
I love it because our tendency is just to keep things closed most of the day, especially with all the sitting and stuff we do. So just to open them up before we work them is really important.
Also, I think this one right here, we got one more, is going to come in play for our second circuit. So that's stability, guys. That's crucial for later, okay? All right, so we are warmed up. We got blood flow into the area. We know what we're going to be working through, so it's time to get moving into circuit 1. We're going to be going for 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, 3 movements in which we are doing 4 rounds of. Yes, these past 2 days we've been doing 3 rounds, but today we're going for 4 rounds because our glutes deserve it. All right, you ready? We're going to start with bridges here. So for this, we're going to be laying down onto the back. We're going to have our feet hip width apart. We're going to have the heels about a hand's length from the butt. We're going to relax neck and shoulders back. We want to make sure your lower back is pushed down into the mat, and you're just going to push through the heel, drive your hips up. As you do that, you squeeze your butt together, all right? And we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. All right, hands at the side, tilt to the pelvis, drive straight up, squeeze to the glutes. Inhale, exhale as you come up. Make sure there's no straining into your neck or shoulders. So we got about 15 seconds seconds left here. Francesco, do you have any type of modification to movement?
Yeah, I'll say if you want to either make this harder, if you only have one leg, one option is just point the other leg up to the ceiling, so you're only on one leg. That a lot of our athletes like to do that if they have some like balance stuff going on.
Okay. All right. We got you right there at 30 seconds. So in the movement, we're going to go through into our backpack deadlift. So let's grab those backpacks that we stored away. And again, we have the backpacks loaded up anywhere from 15 to maybe 30 pounds. So Francesco, you want to give us a little bit of feedback on this movement when we start in about 5 seconds?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we're going to go in 3
seconds,
2, 1, and here we go.
All right, let's do it. I will say the one thing to keep in mind is remember that it's not a squat. A lot of people that I know who try to do this try to squat down too much. You're basically hinging at the hips, right?
Okay.
Our backs are down, or basically squeezing our glutes to explode this bag upwards.
Gotcha.
We're not trying to lower our whole bodies down. Okay.
So pretty much we're just sitting back into the heel. We feel the stretch in our hamstring and glute, and then we just squeeze right through that, right?
Well, remember to press through the heel. Don't try to like get up on the balls of your feet or your tiptoe.
Got it. All right. So that was 30 seconds. I will say the posture work we did yesterday, the core work we did yesterday, I felt that through my shoulders while trying to keep them retracted, and I felt that core activating.
That's awesome.
Okay. So our next movement in the circuit, remember, 3 exercises 4 times through our squats. So for this, we're just going to get our feet hip width apart. We're going to get them right underneath, toes angled lightly out, core tight, chest up, sit down to below, push through the heel, and squeeze through your glutes, okay? So we're going to go in 1 second.
And just like the opposite of deadlifts, this time we are actually trying to get lower, right? We're not necessarily tilting our chest down. We're just, sitting back and down with our butts.
Okay, got it. And I found as you sit more to parallel, you're going to get more quad activation there.
Definitely.
I guess not only are we hitting the glutes, which is a powerhouse for running, but we are getting quads super good because we need those to help us when we stabilize downhill. All right, so we got 30 seconds of rest, and then we go back through this circuit all over again. So yeah, a lot of this workout is going to really focus in on your glutes today because, again, that posterior chain back there is what helps power you forward. So I'm going to catch up to Francesco and take a rest on the mat before it is. It looks like he might be tired already, but we will see. All right, let's get
for 5 seconds.
Those feet hip apart, and we're going to get in 3, 2, 1. All right, and also, yesterday we were doing those dogs, so we're focusing on keeping our hips level, which was great foreshadowing for this, because we want to make sure that we keep our pelvis tilted and those hips stay level when we come up. We're not letting everything sway through. We're trying to get really good control through the core. But I really like the single leg modification. That's awesome. A lot more difficult too. But 1 second left, and we're right there. Next movement, backpack deadlift.
Yeah, I'll say I love deadlifts and squats for runners because I feel like running is such a short range of motion that working the muscle through an even longer one just helps with our integrity. Helps with injury prevention, helps a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to be so great to eventually see when we're back in the gym. A lot of runners really picking up those weights and working through those movements. All right, so we're going to go right now for 30 seconds. So feet hip width apart. Let's push your hips back. That stretch, push through the heel, squeeze through your glutes. I'm going at a little bit slower of a pace so that this way I can really feel activation, but it's cool to go at a quicker pace too if you want to get that heart rate going. But we have a whole other circuit stuff.
That's right.
Yourself, okay? All right, you want to make sure you sit back into that heel, you push through, you squeeze your glute at the top, and you keep your chest nice and high. All right, and we're good right there. Whew. So, is anyone getting a little about this timer yet all week? You guys are hearing it in your sleep. You're hearing it when you're showering. Oh my God, my muscles hurt, that timer.
I'm telling you, I love that tone. It's such like a sneaky tone.
All right, so we got about 9 more seconds left. Let's get ourselves into squat form. Remember, you want your feet hip width apart. You want your toes pointed and keep your chest up, core nice and tight. Right, and here we go. So yesterday, when we went through posture, another great thing for us as runners is it helps us keep our rib cage open, which allows us to get more air in, which increases our endurance and stamina. So we want to translate that also into these squats, keeping our chest up, making sure that we're not folding in on ourselves. Okay? So we got about 2 seconds left in this. We got rest and 2 more times through the circuit because 3 times is just not enough.
Because you're worth it.
Right. Yeah. We got about 15 more seconds before we go into it. I'm really excited about this 5K. Even though it's virtual, I feel like a strong community is still being built around it between both us here at Blink and you guys over there at Achilles. So we're going to go in 3, 1. Let's do those bridges. Can you ask us a little bit more about the 5K?
Yeah, definitely. So it's the first time it's going virtual. And because it's virtual, we can get, our chapters from around the country, around the world involved, which is awesome because it feels like we have this huge community. It's not just like a New York City race. Normally it's in Central Park. But we're working with Fleet Feets and we're basically getting this thing on. It's for a whole week in July and it's going to be awesome. Check the comments for the link to sign up.
And we're right there at 30 seconds. All right, we got our rest before we go to our 3rd round of deadlifts. So, I'm getting in probably around like 2 miles a day and stuff, which I think is good. But for those that are starting and that are looking to track their miles, this 5K, do you have any tips?
Yeah, I'll say, obviously when you first get started, you're all motivated and stuff. You don't need to start off with running a ton of miles every day. Just anything is better than nothing. So just
all right,
start
we're gonna go in
deadlifts up. Just start slow and slowly work your way up. You know what I mean? The important thing is just get out there and run. Once you've been running for a while, then you can worry about, this pace and this and that. I just think people overcomplicate it unnecessarily.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I even find too, like getting into marathons too, we kind of overcomplicate it where you just gotta look at it like mile by mile. And if you know that you've made it through those first 5 miles, first 10 miles, first 13 miles, it's you just use those same tips and tricks to get to that longer distance. That's how right now you guys are working on 5Ks and 10Ks, which I think are really great starting distances. Our next movement is going to be squats. So we're going to be going in about 5 seconds on that. We're going to bring those feet hip width apart, and I'm going to take your tips for the 3rd round. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it. I will say one thing I like to keep in mind is making sure my knees don't come out in front of my toes. I think when I'm trying to teach someone new how to squat, the tendency is to, instead of squatting their butts back and down, they're kind of leaning forward and getting their knees really sticking out. So just, focusing on not doing that because that'll put a lot of tension on your knees.
Gotcha. Yeah, and too, if you guys find that your knees are rolling in on these, there's work that you could do to get everything strong through into your glutes to help reduce that issue from occurring. Because when you're running, you want to make sure that those knees aren't wobbling in and out. You want a nice connection from your ankle to your knee to your hip, which is why all the movements in this first circuit are really, really helpful to create that base foundation for you. All right, we have 15 more seconds and then we're back into bridges. Whew. I don't know.
I love floor because, you're on the ground.
You move so quick, you get to the floor before me. I'm sure everybody else out there too is like, let's just get to the floor and get this done. Okay, so here we go. 30 seconds.
What's your favorite run?
My favorite distance. I like doing half marathons because it feels like just enough challenge. And for me, I only do full marathons when I'm traveling. I've done Philadelphia Portland, Oregon, and San Diego. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, I don't know when I'm going to travel again for another one, but we will see. As long as I log miles now, that's all that matters. All right, we got 30 more seconds. Because you don't always need to have that community there with you in person. As long as we're connecting this way, we're still building like a really strong support system around us. So, you know, we got people we could log into for help.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we got about 9 more seconds left, and then we're going to grab backpack. And this right here is our 4th round, correct?
Yeah, 4th and last of the first circuit.
All right, and laying deadlift now. Push hips back, getting that stretch through the glute. Focus on that squeeze in your shoulder blade. So again, guys, try to use those tips and tricks we used yesterday to work on your posture to now help translate into the lower body. Again, just focus on that breathing. Keep your core super tight. We got about 3 seconds left here. And we're just right there.
All right.
We got one last set of squats. And then after that, we'll take a quick water break because my heart rate, and then we're going to go into the next circuit, which is just 3 rounds. So we figured why not be nice as we close, all right?
That's right.
About 10 more seconds. All right.
Yeah, I'll say one thing that you said about the knees like caving in. I've seen that a lot with our athletes. And there we go. Right, we're starting squat.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, let's do it. Basically, I think the tendency for people to do when they see their knees caving in is put something between the knees to like hold the knees apart. But instead of doing that, I find that a better thing is putting a band around wrapping it around the outsides. So it forces you to activate the muscles to keep them out instead of propping things, like instead of crutching it by sticking something in between.
Exactly. Yeah, so if you guys are having any of those issues through your ankles, knees, or hips, let us know in the comments, and we'll try to give you some feedback on that, okay? All right, and you are good right there. All right, so that right there was our first circuit. We made it through 4 rounds, working through primarily into our glutes, but also sneaking in those areas such as your core, a posture for your upper back. So go grab some water. Don't chug it too quickly because we have a whole bunch of lunges in this next circuit. All right, we've made it to the second circuit, guys, and this one is lunge city. Which means we're going to be going into reverse lunge, forward lunge, side lunge, curtsy lunge, and just be happy those are all the lunges we got, right? We're going to be going for 30 seconds of lunges, 30 seconds of rest, and then we're going to go through that 3 times, not 4. And then after that, cool down stretch. So let's start first with our reverse lunge. Give you a quick walk through. We're going to get your feet hip width apart. You're going to step back down behind you. I like to bring my knee down to the mat. I keep a vertical shin in front. I get a light lean forward at my hip. I push through that forward heel, and I use that glute on that forward stuff to get me up, okay? So we're going to alternate these. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. We're stepping back into it. We're pushing through that forward heel, squeezing through the glute. I'm stepping back with my opposite leg, pushing through the heel, squeezing through my glute. And then I'm going to alternate through. So right now we're at 15.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to say if anyone has any balance issues, feel free to like hold on to the back of a chair or something just to get you through the movement. You know, you don't necessarily want to put a bunch of weight on it, but just for a balance help.
Gotcha. All right, we got 3 seconds left. And we are good right there. All right, 30 seconds of rest. Next movement is going to be our forward lunge. You want to talk us through that?
Yeah, so we're basically doing the opposite of what we just did. We're going to take a step forward, and we're going to do 90 degrees at both of our knees, bring our back knee down towards the mat, keep the shin horizontal, and then push off of that glute and our heel to get us back into our original position.
Woo, okay. All right, we're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Cool. And I'll say similar thing with balance. Either feel free to hold on to something or something I'll find is that people kind of get a really narrow stance, and that tends to mess with your balance. So just remember to have like a nice and stable, not too wide, but you don't want your front foot in front of the back foot.
Okay. All right, we got about 8 seconds left. I'm also just trying to make sure my knee doesn't ride too far forward of my shin, okay?
Yeah, very good points. Just like squats, we don't want our knees coming too much forward.
Gotcha. And we are good right there. We got our rest. Next movement, guys, are going to be our side lunges. So we did our deadlifts early. Let's try to use a little bit of that hinging technique here. I'm going to stand with my feet hip width apart. I'm going to step out to my left side, pushing back into my left heel, loading up my left butt, getting away into my inner thigh. I'm going to push that left explode up, squeeze my butt underneath to get activation into the glutes. And then we're going to alternate side to side. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1, and here we go.
I actually
Let's step it out.
This movement,
so left.
especially for runners and cyclists who we're always in the forwards and backwards plane, right? Just getting into this side to side motion is just so good.
Gotcha. Make sure you get that hinge at the hip so you can really push the weight back into the heel to lift up that side of the glute. All right. Make sure you keep your shoulder blades squeezed, just like we were doing during your regular deadlifts earlier. About 2 seconds left here. And there we go. All right, 30 seconds of rest. And then we're going to throw into our curtsy lunge. So, do you want me to talk them through it, Francesco, or would you like to?
Either way, I could do it.
All right, let's go through that quick call. We got 15 seconds.
Yeah, we're starting in a regular feet shoulder width apart, and we're going to take our left foot, bring it up behind us, rotate it behind our right foot, and we're going to squat down, or I should say lunge down, and keeping our weight on that front leg, and then rotating back.
Hey, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to that now and begin.
I love this rotation added, just another, another multiplanar aspect.
Well, yeah, because as runners, we think we're just forward, and it's like, no, we have to maneuver. If we're out there on a New York City street, maybe even out in the suburbs too, there's potholes. We need to move around that. If your race day, somebody is going to stop in front of you to be able to move quickly to get around them and get through. So that right there was 30 seconds of work. Sorry, my timer did not go off, but I promise you guys it was 30 seconds of rest right here. Okay, so we have 2 more rounds of all of these lunges. This one is going to be our reverse lunge. So I'm bringing my mat back into place. We're going to go in about 15 seconds. I'm getting the feet hip width apart. I'm working on posture. I'm working on keeping the core tight. I'm working on firing up my glutes. I'm working on stability, agility. So we're doing a lot today.
We are.
Let's go in 3, 2, 1. All right, stepping back into
similar
it.
to running, I think people they don't really think about posture as being important while running or while doing, say, leg movements, but posture is important, all the way around. Right now, we don't want to be hunching forward and shrugging our shoulders. We want to keep it nice and compressed and retracted.
Because the next you're hunching, stuff starts pulling through your back, then your hips start going uneven, and you're like, yeah, why does everything hurt? It's because you got to work on posture.
Exactly.
Right, and we are good right there. Whew. So, everybody out there, let us know which lunge so far has been your favorite. Which one are you okay, I think I need a little bit more of a modification on. And again, we'll give you some more feedback on that because we're here to help support you through these miles, okay? So just let us know, interact with us. We have about 7 more seconds, and then we're going into our forward lunges. 3, 2, 1, and let's begin lunges.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see which lunge people like better, because I know for me, I love the side lunge. So.
Well, it's so funny because I have so many clients that are I hate lunge, let's just do squats. And I'm like, no, lunges are so much better. Actually, they're both good, but my legs prefer lunges.
Yeah.
So we got 10 seconds left. We're making sure that we're stepping forward putting the weight into that forward heel, pushing through that forward heel to get activation. My stability is a little bit crazy. All right, I'm good there. 30 seconds. We're gonna rest, and then we're gonna go into those side lunges, which Francesco loves.
Oh, I love them.
I have a feeling that when you get in some more miles this week, you're like, wow, I'm so much quicker.
Yeah, that's
Do this thing that Ellen and I put lunges into my workout. So we got about 10 more seconds, and we'll go into those side lunges.
These mats move around.
If any, I know, right? Mine was sliding everywhere. All right, we got 2, 1, and here we go.
All right, let's do it.
And guys, if there's any point in this workout where you're feeling like anything's pulling through your hip, lower back, just take a break. You don't have to fight through it. We've gone through our child's pose cool down stretches the past 2 days. Use that as a nice break period. On these 30-second rests, use that. We got about 10 seconds left. We're sitting back into the ball, pushing through, squeezing through your glutes at top. All right, and we're good. And rest. And then we have our curtsy lunges.
That's right.
What I really like the curtsy lunge, it'll the stabilization into your knee and your ankle. I think those are really good. Because again,
definitely, like how often do we really rotate in the gym, right? Like doing this type of motion. It's super cool.
And we're rotating more than we realize when we're out there on some of those uneven ground. Especially if like you want to get off the pavement and do like onto the grass with hands. Okay, let's go in 3, 2, 1, curtsy. All right, make there's no pulling through the front of your knee. If you feel pulling through the front of the knee, totally fine. Just go back into squats if you need, all right? Now let's just focus on that breathing into the nose, out the mouth.
Definitely.
There's about 10 seconds left.
And feel free to hold on to something if you need a little bit of a balance assistance. And you don't need to put a bunch of weight in it. Just keep yourself from falling over like I just did almost.
All right, and we're right there. All right, so we got one more rest period and then our third round. This is the day I was looking forward to. Not just because it's Wednesday of the week, but because it was legs. Like my core was like, can we just please stop, Ellen, and can we just go into some leg work?
You forgot about me for 3 years, and now every day.
All right, about 10 more seconds of rest, guys, and then we're gonna go back into our reverse lunges. All right, we've got 3 seconds left, and here we go.
All right, cool. And I'll say for anyone, if you want to make this a little more challenging, if you have like dumbbells or even a backpack with weight, you can add that, to just add some more weight on these movements. I know we're not doing it, but if you want to.
Yes.
This is an option.
Yeah, like even if you have it front rack in front of you, or just place that backpack over the shoulders, but really just make sure you do maintain your posture when you have that extra weight, because it's going to throw off your center of gravity. All right, we got 30 seconds right there. All right, we're going to go into our break and then our alternating lunges.
Sound good.
Yes. Wish I had some water right now.
Well, we're almost done.
All right, the heart rate's up. My watch is telling me so. All right, who else out there's rate is up more than they actually expected it to be? Because there's a number of you guys out there. All right, we got more seconds, and we're gonna go into our forward lunges. Let's go. So I do find that the forward lunge actually gets quad a little bit more than the glute. What are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree, and I mean, maybe it's because we're trying to like decelerate and we're working in our forward, like motion instead of a backwards motion. Mm-hmm. So we're starting with the quad.
Gotcha.
But it's good to do both, even though they might look like very similar movements.
Then we're good there, our rest. And I also think that's really helpful for when we're going downhill. Again, all that stabilization through into the knee. All right, we have about 16 more seconds left. And then we're gonna go through into our side lunges.
My favorite.
I'm so glad this is the last circuit. I'm not glad because that means that we're going to be getting up and blinking, but I'm glad we made this. All right, and here we go, side lunge. We're just going to sit out to that side, load up through into the glutes.
Yep, and just as a reminder, keep your posture as we're going down on this side. I think like it's easier to maybe hunch forward on these side lunges than it was on the front and reverse.
Gotcha. All right, and we're just sitting at hip, pretending like we're doing that light hinge like we did in that diff, keeping our shoulder blades retracted. And we are good right there, Francesco.
Okay.
All right. So we have our rest and then our last set of curl lunges and then cool down stretch. Whew.
I love cool down.
And I was about to say, this is a cool down stretch because they're like some of my favorite stretches coming up. But let's keep the mindset for our set of lunges. We're going about 10 seconds. We're doing curtsy. Whew. All right. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Rotate.
And we're rotating right back and behind. You're pushing that weight into your heel. That's where you're stabilizing. You're loading the glutes on that forward leg.
And even though we're rotating, we're doing different sort of motion, still important not to extend the knee over that foot for the front one.
Yes, thank you for the reminder. All right. We got about 3 seconds left, and there we are. All right, cool. Guys, it's time to cool down. So we are looking at a figure 4 stretch for our glutes, looking at a quad stretch for our quads, and we're looking at a butterfly stretch to get through into the thighs because we seriously worked every area of your legs today. You even worked your calves without it, and we really hit it on those glutes. So figure 4 stretch. I'm going to do this one laying down on the back. You could do this standing if you want, if you have something sturdy to hold on to in case you have trouble coming up and okay? After all that with your left. So for this, we're going to lay on back. I'm going to take my left elbow. I'm going to cross it over my right knee. I'm going to take my hands. I'm going to latch them through my hamstring on that right side. And I'm going to pull that right knee into my chest, allowing my left glute out here to stretch. And I'll hold this for anywhere from like 5 to 10 seconds. Because we know you guys are ready. You have to get back on to a different meeting after you log off of space here. All right, and switch sides.
Yeah, I'll say another option is to do this kneeling and have our knee in front of us and on the ground. And basically using that to...
right?
Yeah.
Nice. So we got this for about like 10 seconds. And then we're going to sit up and we're going to switch over into quad stretch. For this quad stretch, I'm going to do this one from the mat. So Francesco, if you want to do any quad stretch from a standing position or any different. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to lay over onto my side. If I'm on my left side, I'm going to have my right ankle and I'm going to pull it in towards my glute, pointing to go up towards my back. I'm going to push my hip forward. As I push my hip forward, I get that stretch, that right quad.
Yeah, it's really good.
We're going to hold this for about 10 seconds. And then once we're good there, we're going to switch to the opposite side. All right, we're going to keep those hips forward. We're going to take that heel, bring it in towards the glute. And again, I like to push my hips forward so it's not pulling below my knee. I'm just really getting my quad. Oof. And just think, guys, we're one stretch closer to that morning cup of coffee, that breakfast.
That's right.
Don't even think about the emails yet. All right, so let's go through into our butterfly stretch. So I'm going to sit down on the ground. We're going to take the feet. We're going to bring the heels in towards each other. We're going to take our elbows. We're going to place them on top of our knees, but we're going to reach our fingertips around our ankles to the front of the toes if you're flexible. Bring your chest down to your heels while you push those elbows into your knees, pushing those knees down towards the mat, leaning to stretch your lower back. Any tips on this one, Frida?
I will say don't be worried if your chest does not touch your feet, because mine is for sure not.
Okay. So that's why you guys might want to work on foam rolling. It's another trick for runners.
Very true.
Yeah. Any flexibility questions, ask us about it in the comments, okay? All right, guys, that was today's workout. So we've gone through so far this week our arms and abs. We've gone through our posture, hitting our back. Now we have annihilated our legs. And next up is core tomorrow. All right, get the core ready because we get rest today.
That's right. See you guys then.
All right, see you guys tomorrow morning.